I get all my best ideas from Pornhub. Every year they release a huge compilation of statistics, and I decided to do the same with MyAnimeList, which contains surprisingly less hentai. I've recorded the score, genres, themes, and episode length of all 165 anime that premiered this year, and built a program in MATLAB to process it all. But then I realized seeing the 2022 stats by themselves couldn't show me the changing trends, so I went back and added all 171 from 2021. So please, for me, like and subscribe so my efforts aren't all in vain. But before we get to the fun stuff, I'm gonna quickly talk about how I sorted the data and how that'll impact the results. If you aren't interested, jump to this time. I am using the same qualifications for anime awards, meaning I only ever talk about anime that premiered in these years, so no One Piece or Boruto. Essentially everything in the TV news section of MyAnimeList. I also only recorded shows that had scores and were over a few minutes long per episode. So I am using MyAnimeList almost verbatim for all of the data. Scores, genres, and themed classifications are taken straight from there, even if I don't personally agree with them at all. Like how Dr. Stone is tagged as time travel, or how Isekai Shokudo isn't tagged as an isekai, or how its season 2 somehow loses the Iashiki tag, so I guess it's no longer common. There were lots of odd things I saw, but I only actively changed the information 3 times. Once when the anime had no genres, I just copied the genre from its source material. Another was when the studio was missing, so I found it online. And the third was if the theme only came up once and was unimportant, I ignored it. Also if the theme was repetitive, like team sports when there's already a sports tag, or music and idols. I also changed the singular case of reverse harem to harem, because feminism. If the series already debuted, I counted everything after it as a sequel, since they have a separate score. Mappa can't fool me, but that's it. If you have any questions, you can see all the raw and processed data in my link in the description. There's probably a mistake or two, but it shouldn't drastically impact the results. Now let's get started. In 2022, over 165 anime premiered with an average score of 7.13. This is slightly less than the previous year's 171, but the quality beats the quantity, with 2022 being on average a full 1/10 of a point higher. Out of all the anime aired, about a third of them were sequels, their average score being 7.57. If the anime was the first entry in the series, it only averaged about 6.93. These are pretty consistent with last year's scores, but we got significantly more sequels this year, many of which were long awaited. If the anime had 13 episodes or less, and was contained in a single season, it's usually called a core. These anime scored 7.1, being about 0.2 lower than their longer counterparts. What's interesting is this is the exact difference from the previous year, meaning we might have stumbled upon a trend. If we break 2022 into its seasons, the highest scoring was the fall with 7.27, which shouldn't be a surprise with this lineup. Just another reason fall is the best season of the year. A close second was spring, and then a sharp drop to summer and winter. There's no clear pattern here when looking at last year, other than winter really needing to step up its game. You often hear the manga was better when talking about anime, but not all anime are created from manga. An anime made from ordinary manga only had the 4th highest average score. The number 1 source for 2022 anime was books, with a 7.76. But there was only one show made from a book this year, so take it with a grain of salt. In second place was 4-koma manga with 7.75. Web manga was up next with 7.62, and finally ordinary manga with an average score of 7.41, making up 40% of all anime source material. Noting the average score of anime in 2022 was 7.13, every source above this makes higher quality anime, and everything below it is usually worse. Right under this line are light novels, with 7.09, and representing almost 20% of all anime sources, half that of the manga. The ambiguous other option is below with a 6.95, then visual novels with a 6.9. If the anime was the story's debut, it was an original and they weren't the best with 6.82. The remaining 5 sources shouldn't be a surprise to anyone in the anime community. This source information was probably common knowledge to production companies, since lower quality sources such as originals or games were reduced by about 30% from last year, while higher quality sources were increased. The average studio made 1.74 anime with a score of 7.02 and 22.83 episodes. This keeps up with the trend of studios making slightly less anime, but with slightly higher quality than 2021. Ranking studios is where things get a bit complicated, with a few ways to measure the 109 unique studios that made anime this year. If we rank the studios by number of anime made, we get Cloverworks in a much deserved first place, with 8 anime averaging 7.95. What really makes them Studio of the Year is they actually made double the amount of anime this year while pushing an average score of about 1 point higher. That's impressive. If we rank the studios by highest average score, we get Ufotable in first place. But this list essentially just becomes the list of the best anime of the year, since the top studios only made 1 or 2 anime. Again, if you are interested in seeing how a specific studio did, check out my complete list in the Google Sheets below. These were the most popular genres of the year, with action, fantasy, and comedy having a clear hold in the top 3. You might notice the percentages don't add up to 100, that's because a show can be in more than one genre. If we rank them by score, our most popular genres quickly fall. But take these with caution, as our highest rated genre of the year, Boys Love, only had one anime, so it's just saying that it was a really good one rather than serving as a good average. But we can still confidently say genres like supernatural, slice of life, or comedy are better than the average anime. And we can also say the opposite, with genres like fantasy just below the average. It looks like sci-fi and sports are typically worse, and ecchi is the lowest rated genre with 6.36, which is confusing because everyone always tells me they watch these shows for the plot. But it might just be a bad year for spicy content, as only 3 genres had lower averages this year and ecchi fell by a full point. This might be a result of the genre getting too big to handle, as they had the biggest increase in the past year by making 40% more content. Meanwhile, the second highest genre, suspense, cut content by 70% and ended up gaining over 1 point. The most popular theme this year was school, which contained almost a fifth of all anime. Once you get into your mid-20s, you start to notice how much anime actually happens in high school settings. It can be tough to relate to. But up next is isekai, where one of those high schoolers is reborn into a fantasy world. But not the cool high school kid, but the socially awkward lame one that gets a chance to live his dreams, become super powerful, finally get the girls, and whoops, I envision myself as the main character. The real surprise on this list was music in third, until I remembered how many idol shows there were. If we rank the themes by score, the highest was survival. It's followed by genres like gore and childcare, who all did significantly better than their past year. Hopefully they all weren't from the same anime. I actually think we can explain the childcare score rise and why there are 3 times more of them this year. It's called the Anya effect, and it can be summed up as she is adorable and we want more cuteness immediately. Only 7 themes were lower than the average anime score, and the lowest was Samurai, with an average score of 6.25. And this isn't even a poor average since there were 5 of them. You might be confused with strategy games being ranked second lowest, because while at its best, it's No Game No Life, but at its worst, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, and there were so many card games. The low score for Mecha also validates my own feelings. There are great ones, but the shows are usually a miss. If you are interested in reading the full statistics for yourself, a breakdown of all studios, genres, themes, and the raw data I recorded are in the Google link in the description. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe. I've got plenty of ideas and I can't wait to share them all with you.